So first off, I'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This should be a really wonderful presentation. Our presenter is John Ragusa. He's a financial aid counselor at St. Mary's College of Maryland. And St. Mary's very generously does financial aid presentations for schools all over the area every year. So we're really lucky to have him. And I will continue to admit people. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat and we will respond to them as quickly as we can. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Jenny Lyons. I'm the college career navigator at um, at Magruder High School. And yeah, so welcome and take it away.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to see everybody here. I'm going to have about a 20-minute presentation about the financial aid process. We're going to talk about where some of those funds are coming from, some things that you should be looking out for when applying and going through this process. And I'm just going to kind of give a brief overview about as much as I can of the process. And I'll try to answer your questions the best I can. I am not an expert in this yet. I've only been doing this for about 2 years, but I can reference you to some sites that you might want to check out, or we'll have an email address at the end of this that you can please write to our office. We'll be happy to answer whatever questions you have. So let me get to the presentation. Okay. Okay, so first, let's just start with a little overview of what you might see in a general financial aid office. This is our office. This is just a breakdown of how we do things with us. So we do have a new director. Her name's Kim Huey. She just generally is the point of contact for administrators and the president of the college, and she just makes sure that we are following guidelines and regulations as best we can. Next up, we have Catherine, who is our assistant director. She handles federal programs such as loans and grants. She also handles outside loans. Marcia Wilcox is our assistant director. She handles state programs. She also handles special circumstances, and she does professional judgments, which we'll touch on a little bit later on. And then finally, we have me, John. I am a financial aid counselor there. I handle federal work study programs, outside scholarships, and waivers, and some other scholarship programs. We'll talk about a little bit of that as well. So let's just start with the basics of what is financial aid. Financial aid is generally broken into 4 categories, and they're of 2 subcategories. So the self-help aid are loans, work study, and employment. And then gift aid is anything that's given to you. Those are scholarships and grants. And let's talk about why we're all here. How to apply for financial assistance. The free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA, opens October 1st of each year. It actually opened a little bit earlier this year, but every year it should be opening on October 1st. And a couple years ago, with COVID, it had been delayed, and then the previous couple years ago, there was delays with the new FAFSA application process. It's a lot simpler now. You don't have to manually enter any data in. The tax data especially, that can all be pulled directly from the IRS. You just need to give permission for that. The tax information they're going to be looking for in the FAFSA is from the prior year. So for this FAFSA application, the 2627, they're going to be looking at your tax data from 2024. In order to receive any federal or state aid, you will need to fill out this FAFSA. And Maryland's deadline for any state aid is March 1st. but that's also the deadline to receive any federal grants. So we generally recommend that students apply or fill out their FAFSA when they are on winter break. It's a great time. There's usually not much for them to do. It doesn't take that long to get this filled out, and it's a real easy way to knock out something very important while you're on a break. Uh, because because there is a deadline, that doesn't mean you can't fill it out past the March 1st deadline. It's if you still would like to receive any loans or for the student or the parent, you'll have to fill out that FAFSA at any point during the academic year. So let's talk about the main sources of aid. So aid comes from really four main sources: the federal government, the state, private sources, and institutional aid. And we're going to dive into each one of these. Federal funding includes the Pell Grant, which is awarded based on financial need. In order for financial need to be determined, that tax data is used to calculate what's called a SAI, or Student Aid Index. The SAI number ranges from negative 1,500, which is at the most aid, up to 999,999, which they wouldn't even, they would receive no aid for that. Students that qualify for the Pell Grant, part of that federal funding, would also award them federal work study. Federal work study right now is a program that's offered as aid, but it is actually earned through the student working a job on campus. Federal work study students generally have an upper hand at getting jobs on campus because the funding comes directly from this federal funding instead of the institutional budgets that would go to pay employees. Student loans that are federally funded are the subsidized and unsubsidized loans. The difference between the two loans is that the subsidized loans does not accrue interest while enrolled at least half time in school. Unsubsidized loan does accrue interest as soon as it is dispersed to the student. Um, Another thing to remember with these loans is that the interest rates on them are extremely low, and they're very favorable to students. Right now, this interest rate is at about 6.4%. For private loans, you're not going to see anything lower than about 10.1%. And the other thing with these student loans that are federally funded is that students don't have to start paying back on these loans until 6 months after graduation, or after or 6 months after they've stopped being enrolled full time. Sorry about that. I think the full-time credit limit right now is 12. So that's at St. Mary's, that would be 4 courses. So that's just something to keep in mind when thinking about how you're going to be funding your students' education throughout the years that they're enrolled. Another thing that is federally funded is the PLUS loan. There's no changes for this current fiscal year. Or no, I'm sorry. There are changes this fiscal year. Parents can to defer payments or begin paying back on that loan with no prepayment penalty. That was different from previous years. And going a little bit more into federal work study, it's an optional employment for students at our school. It doesn't deduct from their bill. So the funds are earned through a paycheck earned they actually get a state paycheck. So everything comes from the state of Maryland. The W-2s come from the state of Maryland. They are put, at least in this state, they're put on the state employee directory. So it's a cool little thing to put on their resume. At our school, most schools will have this as a website for students to look for employment. Ours is with our Center for Career and Professional Development. They would create a account with our program called Handshake, and they would need a resume in order to apply for any jobs. Uh, Most students are going to be required to show some form of identification. Most common is the birth certificate, social security card, or passport, and they will need bank information in order to get paid. State funding for any student that fills out the FAFSA, they're already going to be applied for Maryland funding. Uh, Students that do not have a social security number or are undocumented may use the MISFA, which is the Maryland State Form uh, for applying for aid. The deadline for state funding is March 1st. Programs that are included in this is the Guaranteed Access Grant, the EA Rawlings Grant, and the 2+2 Transfer Grants. If you'd like any more information about this, please go to the Maryland Higher Education Commission, or we call it MHEC. It can be found at www.mhec.state.md.us. Also, we highly encourage any students that are Maryland residents to apply for delegate and senatorial scholarships. Those scholarships can be found at mdelect.net. They're real easy to apply for, and the site will tell you who your delegates are and who your senator is for the area. You write to their offices, request an application, fill it out, send it back. It's the senatorial is more first come, first serve. The delegate is it's based off of the delegate. Some will issue it to anybody that asks. Some are going to base it off of financial need. It's up to the delegate for that. Institutional funding that comes from the school. Uh, Schools have merit scholarships, which are based off of academic achievement. To some students will, if they can afford to go to school uh, just using their merit scholarship, they will do that. They will not be required to fill out a FAFSA, but they will not be eligible for any kind of federal aid if doing so. For our school, there's no changes coming for our awarding process. You'll need to check with whatever schools you're applying to see what their processes are for awarding merit scholarships. Grants are awarded based off of financial need, so the FAFSA is required for those. And that really is the difference between a grant and a scholarship. Grants are for financial need. Scholarships are based off of merit or other requirements. And then let's go into private funding. So I touched a little bit about this with the federal loans, but in some cases, students may not have received enough aid through scholarships and federal grants and scholarships to pay for school. If all in What we recommend generally is if all other avenues have been exhausted, uh, that's when we would recommend going with the private loans. Generally, it's because private loans have a higher interest rate. There are a little bit more severe penalties if payments are missed, and there's most of them are going to require the student to start paying back on the loan as soon as the funds are dispersed. Not like the federal loans where you have that 6-month grace period to prepare to start paying those loans. On the other hand, though, there are private scholarships. Private scholarships can be from local resources, churches, fraternal order of police, credit union, scholarship websites. We highly recommend these sites. FastWebScholarships.com or Scholarship Monkey. They're all great sites to check to see if you can, if there are funds that you can apply for to reach out and grab. I always like to pause on this page for a moment because I love this story. So like I said at the beginning, I've only been doing this for a couple years. Um, But one of the first things I got to see was there was a young lady from actually Montgomery County who had applied and been accepted into St. Mary's. She received some federal aid, but she didn't qualify for the Pell Grant or anything like that. Um, she received a merit scholarship for about $6,000. Um, and so she just really had limited amount of funds to consider paying for college. Her and her father looked at what it would cost to go to St. Mary's, and he said it was really going to be hard for them to afford it. So they put together a plan to apply for as much as she could for these private scholarships. So she started really reaching out to local resources, not only her church, but other churches and the Fraternal Order of Police and all of like the Elks Lodge and the Moose Lodge. And she went to credit unions. Anybody that was advertising at a scholarship she applied for. And she managed to pull together about $33,000 in private scholarships. Um, they were coming in so much that we actually had to start contacting the sources to ask that they stop sending the checks for the fall semester because she was maxed out in her aid, and they would have to wait if she wanted to actually receive those funds. So it's a really cool story about if you put the time and effort in, um, it can pay off. And that was her goal was just on. She said every Saturday she would apply for 4 scholarships. She had a blank or a base essay that was just a general essay about herself. And then she would tweak it to whatever the application was asking for. It worked out in her favor. Obviously, it paid off. So she was able to get through school without really having to come out of pocket for too much. So what else is there to talk about? Well, we have special circumstances. So this was, if you remember, I talked about Marcia. She handles special circumstances. Some of those include extenuating circumstances that are not reflected on the FAFSA. That could be loss of a job or income, divorce or separation, out-of-pocket medical expense that wasn't covered in insurance that was unexpected, a death in the family that affects the student's ability to pay for school, or an additional sibling in college. Just to touch on the additional sibling in college, the student has to have enough room in their budget to qualify for that, at least at St. Mary's. It's at the school's discretion to offer that aid if in that circumstance. And then any of these, they have to directly be affecting the student's ability to pay for school. So if, Uncle Joe from 2 states over passes away, you can't use that as an extenuating circumstance. But if that Uncle Joe was directly paying for the student's college, then yes, that would be an extenuating circumstance. In some occasions, students declare themselves independent. That requires a dependency override. This allows a financial aid administrator to override the requirement for parent data on the FAFSA. These are usually held for extreme circumstances, generally abuse, abandonment, or an unsuitable household. For all of these circumstances, supporting documentation will be required for all of these. So it's whatever with our office and it should be all financial aid offices, no matter what school you go to. Um, whatever you say to that financial aid counselor stays with that counselor unless it's a conversation that is directly reflected about your aid. They will not go and tell anybody else about what they heard in that office. It stays there. That being said, do we have any questions?
Anybody can feel free to shout out. I think I have been able to answer all the questions that have been put into the chat up to this point. But please, anybody just shout out if you have additional questions.
I tried to get to the mhec.state.md.us
Mhm.
I'm just getting a can't reach this page. I don't know if their website's down or the,
It could be that. I would just honestly just Google Maryland Higher Education Commission. It should pop up.
okay,
I
thank you.
have also I have a presentation about it, and I'll put that in the chat as well.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to touch on this with the NISFA, the undocumented students. If there are any students without any social security numbers or are in the process of getting their green card, there are programs available, not just through the state, but I highly recommend you look into the Dream Foundation. That is a great program for students that are looking for aid that have limited resources. Okay. We got any more questions?
Are you going to talk about the CSS profile? If not, there is a question about that. But if you have it as part of your presentation, we can wait.
I do not. Actually don't know much about that.
Okay. Well, I haven't honestly, I haven't had I keep trying to there we go.
mm,
Um I have not personally as a parent had to apply for the CSS profile in about 10 years, so but I don't think it's terribly different. I was talking to somebody about it this afternoon. It is part of College Board, and it's used. It's a more extensive financial aid application than the FAFSA, and a little more labor intensive, but it typically tends to be used by more quote unquote elite schools, more competitive schools. So like my daughter applied to Duke and she had to do the CSS profile for Duke. So schools like that, you'll probably be required to submit that. It's not instead of the FAFSA, it's in addition to the FAFSA. And so yeah, if you're looking for help. If you're a Magruder student, I'm happy to help you with the CSS profile. If you're from another school, just see the College Career Navigator at your school, and I'm sure they can help you as well.
Okay. Excuse me.
mhm.
So, how does one apply for a FAFSA?
So you would go to studentaid.gov. You need to create a profile. Your parent will also need to create a profile. And then just make sure you're applying for, if you're going to school next year, it would be the 26-27 FAFSA.
I'm putting into the chat right now a link to a presentation that details how you create the accounts that you need to file your FAFSA and create your MDCAPS account for Maryland and federal aid.
And I honestly, when you guys are applying for schools, when you start getting your offers, I wouldn't, I would not accept it right away, especially if you see an offer that may be a little bit better from one school than another. Sometimes you can use that to your advantage to see if you can get a little bit more aid out of that school. So keep that in mind. You're not really supposed to share the actual sheets that you get, but there was plenty of times over the summer where I got phone calls saying, well, we applied at St. Mary's and you guys were offering, $4,000 in a merit scholarship, but Salisbury's offering 8. Can you guys match it? And we can't always match it, but we may be able to meet you in the middle. One thing I try to preach as much as I can is just reach out to the financial aid offices and talk to those people. They can really, it's amazing how helpful we can be just by having a conversation with you. Marcia in particular is one of those, she's been doing this for 20 plus years. So, you may say something in passing in conversation and she'll recognize it as, oh, well, you said this, you might qualify for aid. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? So, just get out there and start having those conversations with the offices. They can really, we're here to help. Do we have any more questions?
Truly, don't hesitate to, reach out to us at the school. It's it's easy. It's my pleasure. It's my job to help you and the students with anything that you need. If you are not from Magruder, then, reach out for, to the Career Center at your child's school.
Thank you guys very
Rich,
much.
yeah, Rich, yes, we will provide the link to the recording of the event. It should be posted by the end of the day tomorrow.
My pleasure. My pleasure, everybody. Thank you very much.
Yeah, reach out anytime. Did someone ask? I'm waiting for, what? Oh boy, Rich, why don't you unmute yourself and just,
Oh, yes. The sooner,
All right,
I
I'm
would
just
say,
trying to get in because for a second there I thought John was getting ready to sign off. I was like, oh crap, I need to get this in as quickly as possible. But we started filling out the forms and getting everything in. Is it the sooner the better? Quite honestly, I read something somewhere like Maryland aid disappears quickly for some things.
I would definitely say before March 1st.
Yeah.
I said earlier in the presentation, I usually winter break is the best time because the students are home and they're available. Keep in mind, you do have to apply for this every year, even when you're in school. So again, over winter break, that's the easiest time. You're in before all the deadlines. It's the best time to do it. But yeah, the earlier, I wouldn't say the earlier the better, but if you do get called for verification or anything, you'll be notified earlier, so there's no chances of aid being held or anything like that. Verification is just a process where some of the data may come back as just questionable, or if something was manually entered. Either the Department of Ed or the school's financial aid office may tag something to be verified. So it's just either verifying that the tax information that was entered was correct. So we'll ask for a record of the taxes that you provided for the FAFSA, or we're just making sure you are who you say you are, or verifying that your data is correct. So if something like that pops up where you get called for verification, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. It's just a real simple, we just are going to ask for a couple things and get you taken off.
It feels really scary if it's the first time you're doing it, but it's really, it's so much more manageable than you think it's going to be. I cried a lot the first year I was doing it, but it's okay. Once you get through it, you'll be like, oh. And also about when you should submit, I did mention this in the chat earlier, but I'll reiterate it again for Magruder students. Everyone who submits their FAFSA by October 31st gets a pizza party in November. So I'm hoping that's an incentive.
We got a good amount of it done. Like you said, it wasn't overly daunting. We got registered for it, which was pretty easy.
Yeah,
We're started filling out the information. Got Lucy signed up for her own too, and
that's awesome.
It's gonna be challenging though, because everyone's got their own stories. So ours is
I know.
We look like we've got way more than we do, and we certainly don't. So
many people, that's the case for many people.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
awesome.
It's also if you have extenuating circumstances, I might have been responding to questions in the chat, so forgive me if John, if you've already answered this, if you've already said this, but if you have extenuating circumstances that don't reflect in the FAFSA, that don't show up in your 2024 tax returns, reach out to the financial aid offices of each of the schools that your kid's applying to and explain what's going on. They will listen. They will take this into consideration. They understand if you have 3 other kids in college that's no longer taken into account by the FAFSA. They understand if you've been furloughed and your job was eliminated and things change, but you have to tell them.
Yeah.
John,
Yeah,
you're St. Mary's?
communication is key. What was that?
Are you at St. Mary's?
Yeah, down in St. Mary's.
Oh, no, we're doing a field trip with our daughter on the 4th.
Oh, the
come down
historic
to-
St. Mary's. It's a great place.
Make sure
Love it
you
down
eat the food on campus. Eat the dining hall food. St. Mary's has the best dining hall food of all the Maryland, University of Maryland schools.
Great pizza.
And John, what do you do there? Are you putting in the financial?
I'm a
aid office?
financial aid counselor there.
Well, we may get to know you really well. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, John.
Come on by.
I
We
will
love
reach out
walk-ins.
for sure. Thank you.
Excellent. I believe there is a question about the 529 funds. I
Okay, yeah.
I think those are, but I'm not positive. I would check with I can send Jennifer an email about that when I get back or tomorrow morning. So the student fills out, there's a parent portion of the FAFSA, and there's a student portion. So each will have to do their section, but the student will do theirs, and then they'll send a link to the parent, inviting them to fill out their portion of the FAFSA.
And we are having our first of, I think 5. I think we're doing 5 this year. Our first of 4 or 5 in-person FAFSA MDCAPS completion assistance events at the school on October 22nd at 6 or 6:30. I forget. Reach out to me or check my website. And yeah, we'll have financial aid experts in to help people one-on-one. So don't hesitate to reach out for help if you need it. We're going to try to make this. And also those events are open to all of Montgomery County. So if you're not a Magruder student or family, you can still come. And 3 of them will be bilingual, Spanish and English. I will do my best to do so. Yes, sir. That's a great idea. I see the question about, you mean the chat, the questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
information. That
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, any more questions out there?
All right. Well, you know how to reach us. Hopefully, you know how to find me or your college career navigator if you are not a Magruder student. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out to get the help that you need. We are here for you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank
you,
you,
guys.
John, so much for joining us, for your
It's a
expertise.
pleasure to meet everybody. If you guys have any questions, I'm at osfa@smcm.edu. I know that's a lot of letters.
Could you say that again one more time slowly?
osfa@smcm.edu.
I'll put it in the chat.
All right, excellent.
Thank you.
All right, guys, you take care. Nice to see everybody.
Take care.